Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast, as always. And we are looking at Thursday here in the NBA after 12 games on Wednesday night. Swept these best bets last night, Nate, and we're about to bring 4 more of them to you guys here for Thursday. We also have our player props up as we do each and every weekday. So like and subscribe to that page and continue to follow along all season with us. Also want you to head to the site over there on thelines.com. Use everything we have up there, including that odds finder tool. Super helpful to make sure that you're getting the best juice back on all these bets that you are making this season. Nate, let's go ahead and keep the thing alive here and kick it off with your first best bet.
Yeah, 4-game slate, and the first national TV game is Boston and Milwaukee, of course. Celtics on a back-to-back, so they come in at +5, and people bet that immediately. Now it's +4.5, I believe, but the money line is still very much in play. So I take the spread, and then I put half a unit on the money line here, because the Celtics are just not your average team when it comes to playing back-to-backs. And I mean, maybe if this was like a home game against Toronto, we've seen them like sit some guys and just claw out a close win. But this is the Bucks. This is number 1 versus 2 in the conference. This is an absolutely essential win. I think it was 2 years ago that Tatum sat near the end of the season, and it was kind of a weird decision. The Celtics haven't really done that against these Bucks since. They've treated these games as very important. And it's a Bucks team that's flailing right now. I mean, they get Dame back, which is definitely good in terms of them being able to close this one out if it's close. But I don't think it means they're just going to pull away from the Celtics team. The Celtics are getting Porzingis back. So Al Horford out, Porzingis in. We've seen this recently, in fact, when they had a back-to-back, right? Golden State, Sacramento. The last situation where, in fact, the only time the Celtics have been road dogs this season, and they covered by 29 points. I mean, that was the start of just we're not having this. After the overtime loss against the Warriors, where they felt maybe they were robbed a little bit. I mean, now they're coming off an overtime win against the Wolves, maybe a little different. But, I mean, you look at the large sample under Mazzulla here, 15-4 straight up on back-to-backs, including 5-1 this season. Last season, they were 9-1 against the spread as dogs and 7-1 as road dogs. And their last 7 on the road, since that Sacramento game started, they've just been on an absolute tear on the road. It was their offense doesn't necessarily show up as much. They have a 135 offensive rating. They're +17 net in their last 7 on the road. Their only losses have come by an average of 3 points per game, so they would still cover here. And just scorching the Nets from 17.5 threes. Bucks, in their struggles here, have dipped in terms of their 3-point defense. It was really good, but now they're allowing a ton of attempts. They're 25th in rating overall. They have the worst opponent assist-to-turnover ratio, allowing fast break points. They're 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 at home, 2-2 straight up, that is. But the offense is just not where you need to be to pull away from a Celtics team, to win at margin against the Celtics team, where even if they're throwing out a lot of Hauser and Pritchard minutes because they're resting guys, or maybe, Brown or Tatum have to sit after playing 40 minutes, the Celtics offense is going to keep humming. And getting a fresh Porzingis in there is also going to be very key against Giannis, slowing him down. He has a plus rating in 5 of his last 6 matchups against Giannis and the Bucks. So defensively, that is a big deal. And then offensively, of course, KP, big lift.
Yeah, I get it. I stay away from this one during the regular season. I have no feel for the Bucks and Celtics when they play each other. I'm going to be totally honest with you. It's a wonderful rivalry. I kind of enjoy watching it sometimes, unless it turns into your 3, my 3, your 3, my 3 kind of stuff with these teams. But I do think that it's going to be a good game today with Dame back. I'll ride with you on that one. I don't have enough for it, to be honest. But I am going to talk about it.
It's a value play, though, right? I mean, you're saying a toss-up game that you don't know which way it's going to go, and the only reason the Celtics are getting +150 is because they're back-to-back, and this is not a team that punts back-to-backs.
And I still trust the Celtics as a regular season team right now more than I trust the Bucks. And to be honest, with clutch time, Dame somehow all the way up there for clutch player of the year, which is hilarious that he has such short odds to be that, because as helpful as he's been, that's not the player that he's been this year in terms of clutch player of the year. But I right now in the regular season, specifically where the Bucks are at, I 100% trust the Celtics more. So if you're getting points because of these slightly artificial reasons, then I would go ahead and take that for sure. But I'm going to go ahead and target a game that's I don't plan on watching, and that's the Thunder and the Blazers. But I am going to take the Thunder team total over here, and it's at 124.5, and that's very high. But I don't care with the Thunder at home. Maybe if they were in Portland, I would be a little bit different about it. But this is all probably turning into a pretty big blowout once again. We've already seen this almost exact same scenario with the Thunder beating the Trailblazers on a back-to-back. I mean, beating the pants off them, 134-91 in the last time they played in this exact same situation. So I'm kind of going with that again. And it's interesting because the Thunder have played 4 backs-to-backs this year, and they played one good team in the Knicks, and they needed everybody to play in that one. So Shai played 34 minutes, Chet played 30. Everybody played their normal minutes in that back-to-back. They still lost, but the other 3, and by the way, there was a lot of points scored. The other 3 games were blowout wins for them against bad teams, right? Including the Blazers and the Pistons in there as well. So in those games, they averaged about 130, right? So they scored 138, 129, 134, and 124 points. Those are their 4 totals on back-to-backs. And like I said, the 124 actually was against Detroit. That's the only under here at the 124.5 that we have for this game. That was the 3rd game of the season for them, right? It was their first back-to-back. Chet was not really available as a rookie coming off of the injury from last year. It was a different team. The key here is, though, even with the blowout, once you get the reserves in there for the Thunder's 3rd unit is comparable to the Blazers. Their 2nd unit is probably better. Like, Kason Wallace is probably better than any player that I would want on that team. Like, Jeremy Grant and Malcolm Brogdon, maybe notwithstanding, whatever. But, like, as far as a young player with talent, Kason Wallace has been absolutely dynamite. And him coming in and playing about 25 minutes on these back-to-backs is really something that I'm targeting, because he comes in, he's very good on offense, but he's, like, very close to being all NBA defender already. He is a shutdown defender, and if he made 13 all defense this year, I wouldn't shock me other than he's not getting enough minutes. But if he was playing close to 28 minutes a game, you would highly consider this man for that. So with that 2nd unit, like, you look at how they structure these lineups on the 2nd leg of this back-to-back, everybody plays. So, like, everybody gets 20 minutes. Isaiah Joe, Trey Mann is getting in there. Milicic is getting in there. So, yeah, there's a lot of minutes to go around for this team, and they're going to keep bringing it even towards the end of the game. We know what they do when they're at home. They score a ton of points, 122 a game or so on the season. So, like, getting a couple more than that against this Portland defense that has been giving up, they're just done. They for sure have given up on this season. Ayton probably not playing tonight. Give up a bunch more points without Ayton in there, about 7 more points per game in the games that he has missed that they're allowing this season. And they're scoring more as well without Ayton, because they're playing faster and things just sort of open up. I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason to it. They're just bad overall. So when Ayton's not in, they're just more bad, honestly. Like, he's at least an established NBA center, and they don't have that without him. They're going to be a lot of Duop Reith tonight. So, they're allowing 122 a game without him. Their last 5, they're giving up 122 as well while scoring 101. They're just toast, man. And I don't care about the Thunder on a 2nd leg of a back-to-back against this team. I'm fine with it, because you're going to see good backup players getting a lot of minutes.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, maybe I can convince you to go, like, over 6.5 points for Kason Wallace. I think I saw that line initially. Like, if we're talking about the 2nd unit getting a lot of run, like, maybe you target those guys, like Joe and Wallace. But yeah, I mean, the Blazers without Ayton, we talked about their defense. Their interior defense is awful. Their only MO right now is to sell out to stop the 3-point shot, and like the Thunder, they don't depend on that at all. I mean, with the mid-range maven SGA, they've had a lot of high-scoring games regardless of where they've played lately. Like, it's been ridiculous to go 248 in Miami last night. Shows you where this team is at in terms of efficiency. I mean, they have a 128 offensive rating in their last 11, averaging 127. So to take a team that's shown a history of pulling the plug very early in the season, and here we are in January, it looks like the Blazers are like, yeah, we don't care how much we lose by. Let's just start this tank job once again.
Yeah. And by the way, you can absolutely interest me in both Kason Wallace and Isaiah Joe props as soon as they're up. Just used our odds finder tool there to make sure I wasn't missing anything, but we don't have them yet. So yeah, definitely going to target those guys with minutes.
Right on. All right. So Knicks and Mavs is a game Josh will be watching. The reason he will not be watching the Thunder, see if his Knicks can make it 6 straight. I think they can. I mean, because Luka's out. And I'm going to take Jalen Brunson to get 25 points in the win here, plus 111. You can ladder that up to 30 points and get plus 200. Like, this is Brunson's return to Dallas. He has not played there. since the trade. And there's also a market that I hit at DK. I think they're the only ones really doing these head-to-head props. For him to outscore Kyrie is plus money, plus 130. The assumption that Kyrie is suddenly going to be a 30 plus point scorer no matter what without Luka is just probably false. I mean, not against a really good defense that now has OG Anunoby to throw at him, and DiVincenzo, who's a nice quick defender, and Josh Hart. Like, they can just throw body on body at Kyrie, make other people beat them. I don't think Dallas can do that. I mean, they're so dependent on Luka that this spread is not really correct, in my opinion, to say only +4. Dallas is a team that loses when they're underdogs pretty consistently here. And Kyrie, his last 3 without Luka since joining the Mavs, 102 offensive rating. Usage rate actually down a tick. It's 29%. He's averaging 21 a game. His last 10 with Luka, he has a 30% usage rate and 123 offensive rating. His last 7 against OG and the Raptors, 21.7 points per game. So that shows that he can be part of the solution for limiting him. Brunson, I mean, quiet last game in the blowout because they played the Blazers. Previous 3, 31 points per game, 142 offensive rating. He's only played Dallas once. It was in New York. It was a blowout because of that Mavs 3-point variance. Now he gets, a team that doesn't have Dante Exum to throw at him, doesn't have Derek Lively down low, and he's just going to be cooking. Like, Knicks, what do you want to say? Like, the best team in the league over the last 5 games. Number 1 defensive rating, certainly the best defensive team. The key thing to note is they just limit 3-point attempts straight up, second fewest. Guess who's number 1? The Memphis Grizzlies, who just beat Dallas, who beat them again, beat the pants off them without Luka, shut down Kyrie, and that was both times without Ja, right? So it's not like Memphis did anything special. They just sold out to stop the 3. Dallas not really scoring in a ton of other ways. On the other side of the ball, they are allowing a ton of threes and have been lucky with their opponents shooting, mostly because they played Portland twice, and that's where 2 of their wins have come in their last 5 here, but they've been bad in their last 5, and they've been trending under. So, yeah, I'll let you take it from there because that's another lean we have in this game.
Totally. No, I mean, I'm all in on the under in this game as well, to be honest. But yeah, Knicks by 1 million tonight. Like, it's going to take a big surprise for me. Like, look, there's a world where the Mavs keep this thing close. It's just way less likely of a reality than that they lose this game by double digits. The Knicks are rolling. This is 100% a game that Jalen Brunson is going to care about. It could almost be a little bit trappy if Jalen Brunson wasn't going to make sure that it's not. That's my take on the whole mental side of this game. Is like, the Knicks have been killing. Now they get a team. I mean, look, that game against the Blazers was over in the second quarter. Now they get a team that doesn't have Luka. It could be, or Derek Lively. Grant Williams is still questionable. It could easily be a game that you just go like, why would we bring it as much as we can in this game? Well, there's a couple of things. The Knicks are not far and away. Like, they're still a 5 seed in the East right now. Like, they got work to do if they want to try to like keep that 5 seed from the Heat and the Pacers and not worry about this play-in moving forward. So like, everything counts for them all the time, obviously. Then you have the mental aspect of playing in Dallas, right? And this is not going to be a trap game for them, but I do believe in the defense. And I love the win for them no matter what. I love them to cover. This spread is still at about 6.5, so I'm good with it.
4.
But like, the under is just really ripe here.
4 points, Josh.
I'm sorry?
Just 4-point spread. Not,
4 points. 4.
Yeah.
Okay. We got that down a little bit then.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Okay. Wonderful. That's great because I see this as under 5 points. Wow. Yeah. Okay. I will probably bet that before we record our player props video. But more importantly, for the under here, 233.5, it did get bet down a point from 234 because without Luka, come on, man. I mean, they are trying to play a little bit faster. They're at like a 102 defensive rating in the 4 games that he hasn't played in versus a 99 when he's in there. But this is about efficiency. The offensive rating is everything, right? The offensive rating drops from like a 120 basically down to about a 109, 108. Actually a little bit worse, 107.5. So like that, yeah, that's it right there. The Knicks, they're playing at the slowest pace again, 5th slowest in the league. They had like a few games where they sped it up playing against some fast teams like the Thunder, but now they're back to the 97th pace overall, which is 5th slowest. 120 offensive rating in this time as well, which is very good, but it's still only getting them about 118 or so. And I don't think that Dallas is scoring like 115 in this game, to be honest with you, with the way you just talked about the defense that the Knicks are bringing. The 3-pointers, not only are they allowing people not to shoot them, they're not even allowing them to make them. Both them and Memphis, like you talked about, 9.8 threes allowed since the trade for OG in this one for the Knicks. So yeah, everybody that you talked about is going to be stepping up. I've got a whole bunch of fade Kyrie 30.5 points is bananas. It's absolutely bananas. Now he could do it. So I'm going to add a few other props when I talk about him in the player props video, like add a couple other stats to his. So it's a combo prop that I'm going to take an under on him. But like that's insane. Like you said, they can just throw an on. It's going to be like that scene in Kill Bill where it's just like she has to fight off like 9,000 ninjas. That's going to be Kyrie all game, just trying to thwart off all these ninjas that are coming at him, and able to stop him and tailor made for defending him. So he might score 30. He might have like 8 assists. He's not going to have both. That's kind of my point. And so there's not going to be a world where this game gets over 234, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a good call to just fade Kyrie's bulk stats. Yeah, because it's going to take so much energy for him to score 30 if he does. Like he's not a number one option. We've seen this throughout his career. Like he should not be the focal point of your offense. It's not going to go well for the entire team if he is. And the Mavs don't have the supporting cast to make the Knicks pay for doubling him, for selling out, whatever they do. Like THJ is probably their only laser on the wing, and he's streaky. So yeah, I like the under. I mean, Knicks, they were trending over like crazy as soon as they lost Mitch Rob, but they've adjusted and mainly by getting OG Anunoby in there for RJ Barrett and just completely changing their wing defense. So yeah, I think the under fits nicely with Knicks to win, Knicks under, Brunson beating Kyrie. That's what we got here.
Yep, 100%. More Brunson, less Kyrie, more Knicks, less points. And that is all the time we have for you in this one. So continue to follow along. Check out the play of props that we have up for you as well. We swept the props a couple nights ago, swept the best bets last night. So let's just sweep them both, I guess, tonight. So until we see you next, happy betting.